Hello, welcome back to the Single Society. This is the podcast series where we will be exploring all about single life, looking at things through a positive lens and all that is best about being single. For those of you that are interested in singles nights, that is also something that I run, and this episode that you have landed on is episode 3 of a 7-part series about consent when it comes to singles nights. Now, I do think that if you are reflecting, considering the possibility of coming along to one, it needs to be something that you very actively opt into. It needs to feel right for this time in your life. There is so much to enjoy about being single, and if that is something that you just want to continue exploring, continue enjoying, more power to you. That is fantastic. But of course, there is also nothing at all wrong with wanting to consider, a fling, a partner, a marriage, wherever you are on that spectrum. Or, of course, also just being open to the possibility of meeting more single people at a similar age and stage of life to you. So, the first couple of episodes in this series, we're looking at consenting to coming to a singles night in the first place. And then the second one was reflecting on drinking when it comes to singles nights. In this third one, we're going to continue thinking about boundaries, but we're going to be thinking about you as a potential participant at a singles night proactively consenting to how late you stay and what the end of a singles night looks like for you. Now, as somebody who organises singles nights and runs them, I will do everything I can to keep everybody safe in the space. There are always at least a couple of hosts there to look after everybody. We only work with local independents, so they're in really lovely spaces, fabulous teams. But there is also an element that is over to you as a participant. And so the more we can have these conversations about consent, what that looks like, and get people to reflect about being single and potentially coming to a singles night, the better these spaces are going to be for everybody. Now, with all of these topics, they are hugely personal to you. So I don't want to leave you with the impression that there's sort of one right answer. When it comes to consent, there are some wrong choices that can be made, but certainly there's a spectrum of possibilities when it comes to what right looks like for you. So, the singles night spaces I run have quite a straightforward format for the most part. Most of them are actual singles nights. I do have the odd speed dating and singles party as well, which is just a little bit different. But most of what I run is a singles night, and there's things all throughout the evening to get you chatting. So, there's conversation cards when you first arrive, there's quizzes, there's games, there's lots of different things. The space that is most open, however, is at the end of the night. So, where possible, having swapped everybody round to different tables, made introductions throughout the whole of the evening so that you've met everyone else at the singles night, when that has all happened, we will do our best to get people stood up and standing. Now, that does slightly depend on the dynamic of the group and what people are comfortable with, and sometimes to a certain extent the venue that we're working with as well. But wherever we can, we'll get people up and you can just sort of move around the space, chat to anyone who's caught your eye, chat to anyone you were having a good conversation with beforehand. And that is the space where we would really encourage things like number swaps to happen, exchanging details. And of course, it may go further as well. It might be that you have a kiss with somebody on the night. It might even be that you choose to go home with somebody. Now, it's okay if that is not something that is for you. Obviously, please do not judge anybody else who makes that choice. Consent is such a personal thing. But what I am going to encourage you to do is reflect before you come to a singles night about what your personal boundaries are with all of this. Some things you probably are going to wait and want to see how you're feeling in the space, but I would definitely set like a latest that you will have left a Sorry, guys. I would definitely set a latest point by which you will have left the evening by. I know that sounds very Cinderella. I'm not suggesting that anything terrible is going to happen. The carriage is not going to turn into a pumpkin if you don't. But it is worth having a personal boundary. If you know, for example, you've got work the next day and you want to leave by 9:30 in the evening, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. You'll still have had lots of opportunity to meet everybody by then. Now, it might be that you go thinking, oh gosh, I'm quite nervous about this, I'm going to leave at 8:30, and then you're having a fabulous time and you stay out till midnight. That's okay, as long as you haven't kind of thought beforehand, right, I really need to do leave by this point. And if you have got that cut-off point, make sure that you stick to it, because it's just having that kind of safety and respect for yourself as well. And I need to know as a host that you're actively consenting to everything that is taking place. And that's best done if you reflect on these things beforehand. Something I really encourage people to do is, if you are interested in somebody, please do try and exchange details on the night. I will follow up the next day to see if you want me to pass your number on to anyone, and obviously I will then get in touch with them via email, make sure that they have got your details and any message that you want to pass over. But I have found, and I've been running these for quite a while now, the chances of a date are so much higher when you ask in person, not least because you meet quite a lot of people at these singles nights. And so if I, email the next day and say, oh, Tom asked me to pass his number on, Charlotte asked me to pass her number on, there's a chance that they might be thinking, which one was Tom? When did I speak to them? You don't want that. It's so much better if you ask in person. You've got that definite memory of who you were speaking to, about what in that moment, and you can make plans as to when you're going to see each other again. I do have an episode on how to ask for somebody's number if you would like to go back and listen to that one. That is quite helpful to have as a tool in your arsenal as well, to know the best ways to ask for somebody's information at singles night. Now, I will follow up, as I say, but it does work a lot better in person. But again, this whole kind of theme is around consent, personal boundaries. It is worth reflecting on if that is something you're comfortable doing and what information you'd want to give out. So I'd say number is probably the most common, but I have had it where people have only wanted to give out their email. That's okay. If that's you, that's fine, honestly. Number is definitely most common, but it could be your Instagram handle, it could be something else. So just again, reflect beforehand. Okay, let's be optimistic. I'm going to meet someone at this event, hopefully a partner, but also very probably you are going to make some more single friends, amazing people at these events. How do you want to pass on those details? So it's just thinking through, okay, at the end of the night, how do I want that to look for me? Set those boundaries, reflect on it yourself beforehand. This is just the third episode in this 7-episode series, so please do come back and listen to the others and hit subscribe so that you're following along for all those that are coming up. See you there.